Hello and welcome to Ask a NaviGuide, part of the Abundant Aging podcast series. I'm your host, Ashley, and on this show, we will discuss topics in aging and family caregiving that can be stressful to work through. This show aims to provide you with tips and advice from United Church Homes' NaviGuide team of experts. Our NaviGuides have decades of experience helping families work through issues, and we hope that what we share on this show will help everyone age abundantly. Today, we have our NaviGuide, Kimberly, with us, who will help us understand dementia and safety. But before we get started, please remember the opinions shared in this podcast are not those of our NaviGuides and are not meant to convey or take place of any clinical, legal, or professional advice. So hi, Kimberly. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Ashley. Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm so glad you could join us. So why don't we kick off the episode by you just telling us a little bit about your background and what makes you so knowledgeable in this subject?
Yeah, thanks so much. So I come from a background, started out as an activities assistant in a nursing home. They placed me in the memory care unit, and that's where my love for geriatrics and especially those with Alzheimer's really grew. They were so relatable in many ways, even though we were opposite age realms. I tried to do other things in my 20s just for the money and just, nowhere near as fulfilled or as meaningful as some of the experience I had had. So I went on to get a bachelor's in gerontology and am working on a master's in counseling specific to seniors. So I'm a proud advocate is my background.
That's awesome. I love that. You can just tell by listening to you talk that you have a heart for it. So glad that you're here with us. So talking about safety risks in the home for dementia, can you give us some of a refresher on the behaviors you may see from someone that has Alzheimer's or related forms of dementia that could lead to safety risks?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Some of the behaviors that should be red flags that you would see that are safety risk for individuals living with Alzheimer's is if they decide they want to cook a meal. Sometimes timing, but especially judgment skills, some of that communication isn't the best depending, on the stages as the disease progresses. So cooking is probably not a good idea. Also things like running a bathtub. There is a risk for flooding. There's a story there if you want to hear it.
Sure. Let's hear it.
I had a resident one time, God bless her. She wanted to get a bath. She turned on the bath water, went to go sit down on her recliner while the tub was filling up, accidentally fell asleep, and flooded not only her apartment unit, but the entire first floor on that side of the building below her because it was in the evening and the water had ran for hours and hours, just soaking through. And it was just, a major safety. Anything could have happened to her.
Right. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And when we talk about the stages in another episode, and as you progress to those stages, maybe in the early stage, she could run her own bath, but maybe it progressed to the point where, maybe she lost some of that cognitive ability. So
yeah.
Thanks for sharing that experience. So what are some of the things then people can do in the home to reduce some of those risks?
So some of the things that you can do as a caregiver of a loved one or just regular patient with Alzheimer's that you're caring for, subtleties like, unplugging the stove, let them feel like they're still having that independent autonomy skill that they're doing and stuff, but you're still being safe, keeping them safe where they're not a harm to themselves or others, hiding the car keys so they don't start driving somewhere they don't realize where they're going, that safety risk, putting away some, those candle lighters, just some normal safety measures. Cut off the water after, if they've had their bath for the day or, just turn off that water valve.
Yeah. So would you say that then that giving up some of that independence is really the burden for both the caregiver and the resident, or the person with dementia and Alzheimer's. That's really the thing that is sort of driving the frustration part.
I'm sure. I can only imagine. That's very sobering, when you lose your ability to function and participate in the daily activities you once used to,
Yeah.
knowing that it's nothing but degenerative.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be very difficult to live with. And that's why the support factor is so important. So you're not alone.
Right. So I know that wandering can happen a lot with Alzheimer's and dementia. So what stage would you say that the wandering is in, and what can you do if someone is at risk for that?
Yes. So the wandering stage typically comes in the middle stages of the disease. Um, an individual feels like they want to take a walk. They go take a walk, and next thing you know, they're walking down the interstate, and not even
Mm-hmm.
real cognizant of it. So some of the things that you can do are definitely to put, an extra lock on the doors. Alert your neighbors. Let your neighbors, if you're comfortable with them knowing the situation, hey, just to let you know, I've got this precaution in place, but if you see something that's not right, or see my mom, whoever wandering around outside, would you please let me know? Implement that home health aid services, just extra measures of protection. And I know in assisted living facilities and nursing homes, they do have those type of things specific to the memory care unit. You have to have a code to get in.
Yeah, yeah. Or they use some sort of alarm system,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And that's scary because, just not knowing, like coming to see your loved one and them not being there, or realizing that, they do have this independence, but like, when is it time to pull the reins back? Do you wait too long and something happens, or do you, protect them early? So that's a lot to think about. And
Yeah.
then it makes me think more about our discussion about the independence. So how do you, how as a caregiver do you keep someone calm or manage a situation if somebody becomes frustrated by these changes that you're making in their life right now? You're taking the keys, you're turning off the water. How do you keep them calm and manage all of that?
Honestly, the best answer I can give is just to meet them, be willing to meet them where they're at, not where you wish they would be. If somebody is, they call it, melting down for, an autistic child or something, but similar thing, if somebody's becoming aggressive or really unable to express how frustrated they are, but they're doing it in other forms, just take a step back, all right, how you, we can do this when you're ready. It's okay. We don't have to do this right now, you know, definitely don't argue. That's not going to be productive. Um, the ability to meet them where they're at, use humor if you can, if they say something that is just off the wall or something, oh, there's monkeys in the backyard fighting, use humor. I didn't know it was the season for monkeys. Okay.
Yeah, I like that because that sort of lightens any situation, right? If you can just kind of laugh about it and move on. It's sort of my go-to for everything. So I can appreciate that and relate to it for sure. And I like that, being able to just diffuse the situation with a little comedy, I think is wise. So
Yeah.
it's in speaking of the safety risks and the ways we can modify or adjust things at home and how we can diffuse conversations. Is there anything else that you would like our audience to know about this, or any experience that you've had in the past that might be helpful for them?
Just knowing you're not alone, please reach out and get the support that you so desperately need. I do not know the facts and figures right off the top of my head with the percentages and stuff right now, but it's off the wall with how much caregivers do and have, they don't get paid, especially the at home caregivers for it. They need respite. Please take the time to take care of yourself so you can continue to pour into your loved one. reach out. The Alzheimer's Association is there. They have a 24/7 helpline. So many other services where you don't have to go at this alone. Just like you're giving that gift to your loved one with Alzheimer's, you're telling them, I may not understand what you're going through right now, but I'm willing to sit with you. I'm willing to hold your hand through this process. Be kind enough to yourself to give yourself that same grace. Put your own breathing mask back on type analogy.
Right. Good advice, Kimberly. As always, very good advice, and appreciate you coming on and sharing your heart and passion for anyone dealing with Alzheimer's dementia, and I'm sure anyone else. You just seem like you really have a heart for people, and we're so glad that you came on the show. So thank you, and thank you for tuning into another episode of Ask a NaviGuide, part of the Abundant Aging podcast series brought to you by United Church Homes. If you like the show, please like, share, and subscribe so we can bring you more shows like this. You can find us at abundantagingpodcast.com and leave feedback that we'd love to hear from you. For more information about the United Church Homes NaviGuide program, please visit uchnaviguide.org. And for more information about United Church Homes Memory Care program, Comfort Matters, please visit unitedchurchhomes.org. We'll see you next time.